Yo. What's going on? Terrell Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other good, sweet, beautiful, wonderful shh. Hopefully all y'all staying safe out there and just that. This video, what it is many people have asked, about Halle. I never really talk about Halle. And throughout the years, you always get conflicting dumbass stories and stupid shit. So I guess we talk about it and how it correlates to the history of the breed and everything else. Well, first of all, Halle, uh, I'll go into the real about her. Let me blow that candle out. But this is the reality of that dog. In my opinion, still the most oppressive dog in breed history. I think when you take into the fact that she dominated, the best males in that era who are, Paco is considered right there at the top as far as being, one of the best show dogs ever. And, she beat him. She beat Hef, Halle was pretty much, Halle was Halle. She was pretty much undefeated, and just dominated everything. 15 and a half inches, 25-inch head at the end, 90 pounds. She got up to, I think she was better at 85. But the girl was just a monster, The funniest part is most of her showtime came before she was 2 years old when she was winning all those shows. And, she was just a dominant ass girl. And, you know, she's actually to answer some of the questions, she's actually a Trevino's dog. They put her as Razor's Edge, and I did buy her from Dave Wilson, but the thing was that she was a putback deal, and the more I've gotten knowledge of it is that the breeding was actually the Trevino's breeding. It made sense. They whelped the litter, they owned the stud, and once after that they owned the female too. So yeah, I want to give them credit where she would have been Trevino's, and if they want to put slash Razor's Edge, that was her definitely. And I guess the questions, yes, she is the first ever ABKC slash first ever American Bully champion. Now the questions come into play as why people give her credit, but not the type of credit that they give some of the other dogs. First and foremost, I think it has a lot to do with the fact she's a female. It's hard for a female to dominate in any breed because males is what it's all about. Next of all, she came at a precarious time. And what I mean by that is that during this time, let's just be realistic. You had several dogs, whether it was Bodega from Razor's Edge. They had a girl named Wiccan and several other dogs during that time span that were, very nice, supposed to be these just incredible female. I think it was a girl named Sasquatch. But, females look good, when you seen them, from different time spans. But the problem began is that, a lot of the dogs were juicing. And I don't, it's not to try to throw nobody under the bus. It's to be real. We were all Elite Edge, and the other big time females that were from the Elite Edge camp, they were all. I mean, it became pretty knowledgeable that these dogs were juicing. They were being given different steroids to look the way that they looked, and those bitches didn't produce litters. They didn't produce puppies. They, and in several instances, a lot of those bitches were, several of those bitches, let me not say a lot, were sold. And then, later on when the people got them and the cycles wore off, they started seeing that these bitches weren't what they were propped up to be. So you came from an era where, her contemporaries, what should have been like considered her squad, I guess nowadays, they had a lot of things around them that made you like, because these were the dogs a lot of times that she would be in lineups with, or they'd be like, oh, these them EE girls, and this, that, and the other, and you would see, people talking about all the great females we had. Well, out of all those great females from her era, it started being red flag after red flag after red flag. And with that happening, she became a part of that. Now, I did emphasize that she got pregnant, had several litters. Unfortunately, Denzel's litter is the one litter that lived, but she did have a couple litters, and she was never shot up with anything. Her greatness was reality, but it became it became an issue. And also during that time, I think it became the ending of an era. It's like being the best dog at the end of an era. And it was the end of an era for the Elite Edge. It was the end of an era for the Elite Edge greatness. We had a good run, and you started to see different things happen. Not only were the females being shot up with steroids, which, trust me, most of us didn't know, but a lot of us did. You had dogs that were being roided up. You also had everything for sale. And when you do something like that and you put every single thing for sale, eventually it's gonna catch up to you. You know what I mean? And in the Elite Edge, the one thing about it is that I mean, you name it, it was for sale. And that sort of change up in mentality of what we were trying to do at that time, because we went from being the guys who had all the dogs to, next thing you know, we were pushing jeans. We were making blue jeans. We were making hats and jerseys, magazines. We were doing everything but dogs. And then people from like places like Thailand start offering $80,000 and $90,000, $100,000, houses, cars for the dogs. And a lot of people just couldn't get past the greed. The greed is what took them over. So when you had these offers come in, I kept Halle the whole way. But when you had these offers come in, this is why everything stopped. This is why the Elite Edge stopped. This is why the Razor's Edge stopped. And I'm not trying to, I'm just being honest with y'all. Y'all remember, I was a part of this shit, so don't y'all start, oh, he hating. No, I'm giving you a true inside perspective. You think about this. You go back to, say, 2005 to the 2005, 2008, 9 era, and you think about all the females and everything that was going on, and in this time span, you will find out that this was like officially the ending of Razor's Edge and the Elite Edge. And the only way that that happened is because there were some steroid issues. Everybody remember the dude from the UBKC, Lou, and Lou was mad because they sold him a dog, and when the dog showed up, the dog was like 14 pounds. Looked nothing like the pictures. I personally seen a lot of them that, when they weren't on cycle, they were very average dogs, but when they got pumped up, that's what they were. And so this thing has been going on a long time, but I think even bigger than that was the money. Little Roll got crazy, and they bred him like crazy. Even with that one testicle, they bred Little Roll, man, so many times it was ridiculous. If you had $5,000, you could get a hold of him. And then you had Paco see a certain amount of success. So when Paco saw all of his success, Paco really took it worldwide. So Little Roll piggybacked off of that, being Paco's dad. Now, once Little Roll piggybacked off of it, it introduced the Elite Edge more and more to the world. And next thing you know, you had people calling us and offering us anything for dogs. I remember, they offered me, like 75, 80 right off the top for De Niro. Halle, the highest offer I got was right around 200,000 actually. But we shut it down, and a lot of people couldn't say no though. So what you had is at this time, not only we had a steroid issues with the dogs, but we also had the issue of all of the people, not every single person, because a lot of people was leaving because of the shit. But the main people in the group, man, instead of holding on to the best dogs and instead of trying to produce and elevate what we were trying to do, they were willing to sell out. Excuse me. And when I say sell out, I don't mean it just in a derogatory way, but I'm just saying these people were willing to go ahead and sell all of our best dogs. Everything. So when you go back to that era and you wonder why you've never seen any more Razor's Edge dogs, for instance, why certain other kennels disappeared and stuff, they disappeared because they sold everything. I mean, I'm being honest with y'all. None of the dogs that you hear about being Razor's Edge anymore is Razor's Edge. All that shit got sold off. All of it got sold off back in the day. So when you start, so it was no way to carry on. A lot of the dogs that y'all saw on banners, a lot of the dogs that you saw in old videos and stuff, none of them dogs are around. They was all sold off. They was all sold off to the highest, the highest dealer. The Razor's Edge name was actually branded, and you had a thing where, somehow Cruz owned part of Razor's Edge, and he actually still does, but now he calls it Razor's Edge Frenchies over there. And you had Dave going back and forth, and everything became about money. Let's sell this one, let's sell that one, let's sell this one. We can come up on this one. We can put this money into the gene company. We can put this money into this. We can do this. We can do that. And in reality, we just got away from dogs, man. That's all. Just got away from dogs. Some of us got away from dogs. It hurt a lot, but I can tell y'all, and I can promise y'all, y'all fall for the illusion, but I'm telling y'all the truth, man, is that, you know, this is why certain dogs don't get credit from that era. Any of the dogs that was edge in that era will not get credit, including Halle, who was the leader of the pack at that time. It's one of the reasons why Little Roll, although he's so great and he should have a lot more recognition for his productions, it's why he don't get as much credit because the game was treated like a swap meet. A lot of respect was lost, in the process. And from that point in time, that was like, that was a time when we was locked and loaded and we was supposed to be moving forward and dominating. And instead of us taking our dogs and breeding them to make better dogs and continue to dominate, people got greedy, man, and was willing to sell anything in their yards. Anybody came with a big check, it was over with. And this is how this thing ended up being the way it is. It's just the truth. Y'all still believe so heavily. I asked, and this was just a conversation, so it is what it is. But even when you talk about, like Razor's Edge dogs, you ain't seen no Razor's Edge dogs produced in the last 15 years. Demon Boy ain't no Razor's Edge dog, you know what I mean? None of these dogs that's been promoted as Razor's Edge dogs, they're not Razor's Edge dogs. The real Razor's Edge dogs live in Thailand. The real Razor's Edge dogs live in Mexico, Puerto Rico, these different places. This is where it all went. This is why you saw the fall off. This is why you saw the drop of the dynasty. This is why you really haven't seen a true Razor's Edge bloodline ever exist, because all of the good dogs were sold elsewhere, man. All of it was sold elsewhere, man. Little Roll ended up, I think Cruz had him until he died out in California, and they kept a few of the studs around, but the females, which I believe is the foundation of everything, they was all sold off for for whatever you could get for them. It was all sold off. So that, in a nutshell, is why I always feel like the Halle don't get the credit, because she was a part of like the corrupt nation. You had steroid issues, you had this issue, you had that issue. At the end of the day, it just didn't work out, man. But hopefully we can rewrite history some, and we can start pushing the dogs in the right way to do exactly what it is that we need to do now. And everything is not for sale. It's not just one big sale. But until next time, y'all, man. Hopefully that answers y'all questions some about why Halle is not pushed as the first ever champion and banner of a dog. Besides the fact of our fallouts, it was a lot of fallout from that time. It was a lot of selling out, and a lot of people like to stay away from that time to not point the spotlight at themselves. But she was a badass bitch. Great breeding done by the Trevinos and Razor's Edge, and I still go down and saying, not only was she a bad bitch, but she was a badass producing bitch. And when you look at it, the records don't lie. First ever champion, all those shows wins in a row. Producer of a nationals champion, producer of 4 other champions. I mean, she did her thing, man, in a very small amount of time. So, hey, much love to y'all, man. Thanks for the questions. I'll answer more of them later. Until next time, much love. Peace.